Imagine the deep blue ocean, where sharks slice through the waves. Apex predators seemingly untouchable. Yet far offshore, massive fishing vessels cast miles of nets and long lines, laying an invisible trap. With a single pull, a shark is dragged from its realm into human hands. From that moment on deck, its journey reverses, from symbol of raw power to a cog in a vast global industry, where every fin and every cut of meat is processed, traded, and exported across continents. Welcome to AgroWorks USA. Today we're uncovering how sharks, once feared as monsters, have become the foundation of a billion-dollar market. We'll follow their path from ocean hunts to bustling fish markets, industrial processing plants, and the cultural tables where shark fin soup and other delicacies symbolize wealth and tradition. Along the way, we'll explore the scale, the technology, and the ethical questions that shadow this trade. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Let's dive into the extraordinary world of shark harvesting together. Each year, more than 100 million sharks are harvested worldwide, making them one of the most exploited marine species on Earth. Populations have plummeted by as much as 70% in just 50 years. Yet demand continues to climb, fueling a global industry worth over $4 billion annually. The trade spans every ocean and port. In Asia, fins are the crown jewel, luxury ingredients that can fetch $500 to $1,000 per kilogram in markets like Hong Kong and China. Shark liver oil, rich in squalene, powers a $1 billion cosmetics and pharmaceutical sector. Meat is consumed across Latin America, Europe, and Asia, while shark skin is tanned into leather for fashion. Culturally, sharks occupy two extremes: feared predators in popular media, yet symbols of wealth and vitality when served in prestigious banquets. Economically, they sustain vast fleets, coastal fishers, and processing hubs. Together, these forces have turned sharks into commodities that link ancient traditions with modern global markets, transforming an apex predator into one of the ocean's most traded resources. Shark hunting unfolds across some of the world's richest waters, from Indonesia's coral reefs to the vast expanses of the Pacific and Indian Oceans. These regions, where prey fish swarm and currents converge, draw in apex predators and set the stage for massive harvests. To capture them, fishermen rely on two dominant methods. Gill nets, stretching for miles, act as underwater walls that ensnare sharks by their gills and fins. Long lines, bristling with thousands of baited hooks, form floating highways of steel where each strike triggers a grueling endurance battle. Both methods yield immense hauls, though gill nets often trap unintended species, leading governments to regulate mesh size, soak time, and release protocols. Bringing a shark aboard is a test of raw strength and coordination. Heavy-duty carbon rods and reinforced lines strain under the weight, often requiring entire crews to subdue a single animal. Once on deck, priorities shift instantly from conquest to preservation. Industrial vessels stun the catch, then pump ice-cold seawater through gills or stomachs to delay decay. Some ships go further, trimming fins and chilling carcasses in refrigerated seawater tanks before reaching port. With shark meat notoriously perishable, every minute counts. From the moment of capture, the race is on, ensuring the ocean's apex predator arrives at market not as a fading carcass, but as a product fit for global trade. Would you want to witness miles-long nets being hauled up, packed with sharks? Which step do you think is the most dangerous? Casting the nets, hauling the catch, or handling sharks on deck? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to follow AgroWorks USA. When the vessels return, the drama shifts from sea to shore. In Indonesia and other major fishing nations, bustling ports transform into open-air arenas where tons of sharks are unloaded each day. Workers hoist the catch on bamboo poles or drag them across wet docks, their bodies sorted into piles by size and species. At auction, buyers crowd tightly, evaluating gill color, eye clarity, and flesh elasticity. Small details that decide whether a shark will fetch a premium price or be sold cheaply. From the docks, trucks carry the catch to sprawling processing plants operating at industrial scale. Here, speed and precision matter most. Skilled workers remove the dorsal, pectoral, and caudal fins, which can account for up to 80% of the animal's total market value. Each fin is trimmed, washed, and graded. Slight differences in size or thickness can double its worth. Carcasses are then filleted, salted, or frozen, while liver oil is extracted for cosmetics and pharmaceuticals. In Japan's Kisunuma port, one of the world's largest hubs, hundreds of tons are processed daily, with fins destined for soup in Asia and meat shipped worldwide. The journey from ocean to factory floor reflects a global network where nothing is wasted, and every part of the shark becomes commerce. Across Asia's banquet halls, sharks shift from ocean predators to culinary symbols of prestige. The most coveted dish is shark fin soup, where translucent strands floating in golden broth signal prosperity and wealth. A single serving can cost $100 or more, while top-quality fins command $500 or $1,000 per kilogram in markets like Hong Kong and Guangzhou. For centuries, this dish has tied cultural tradition to modern luxury, ensuring relentless demand. Yet fins are only one revenue stream. Shark meat, dense in protein and low in fat, is consumed in dozens of countries. In Spain and Portugal, it appears as steaks or salted fillets. In Latin America, it is stewed or fried. In Asia, it is dried and preserved. Iceland transforms the Greenland shark into hakkarl through fermentation, turning toxic flesh into a national delicacy. Beyond the table, shark liver oil feeds a $1 billion schooling industry, supplying pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, and even vaccine adjuvants, while skin is crafted into leather goods. Together, these markets generate billions in annual revenue, sustaining fleets, factories, and coastal economies from Indonesia to Mexico. Each shark hauled from the sea represents more than a catch. It is a living link between ancient cultural rituals, modern consumer demand, and the mechanics of global trade. Would you ever try a traditional bowl of shark fin soup? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd really love to hear your perspective. Behind the billion-dollar shark trade lies a fragile balance between use and survival. Populations of several species, hammerheads, oceanic white tips, even great whites, have dropped by more than 70% in recent decades, raising concerns over the future of lineages that have patrolled the oceans for hundreds of millions of years. As apex predators disappear, ecosystems shift, prey species surge, food webs unravel, and entire marine habitats begin to change. Ethical debates sharpen the controversy. Finning, though banned in many regions, still shadows the industry, while even regulated fisheries face criticism for reducing sharks to nothing more than meat, oil, and leather. Supporters counter that stricter management and controlled harvests could preserve both cultural traditions and livelihoods, turning exploitation into sustainability. Yet the question remains unresolved. Are we witnessing a model of responsible resource use or a cautionary tale of pushing nature too far? The answer will decide whether sharks remain rulers of the deep or fade into memory. In the jungle's shadows, the python coils like a living rope of muscle, silently constricting until every movement ceases. Yet in another world, vast industrial farms stretching for thousands of square meters, millions of pythons grow in unison, managed like parts of a living assembly line. And when they reach over 3 meters in length, their shimmering skins can sell for $500 per square meter, a golden ticket from rural Southeast Asia to Europe's luxury fashion houses. In the next part of this video, we'll uncover the hidden industry of python farming, how fragile eggs are incubated, how hatchlings are raised into massive adults, and how their skins are transformed into handbags and shoes worth thousands. Along the way, we'll explore the global scale, cultural beliefs, and ethical debates that surround this billion-dollar trade. So before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe to AgriWorks USA, and ring the bell. Let's journey into the extraordinary world where jungle predators become symbols of luxury. Once symbols of fear in the jungle, pythons now anchor a global luxury trade. More than 20 countries engage in python farming, led by China, Vietnam, Thailand, and several African nations. Millions of snakes are raised annually, with the skin industry valued at hundreds of millions of dollars. Premium hides can reach $500 per square meter, making python one of the most lucrative reptile commodities in the world. Culturally, the python plays multiple roles. In Southeast Asia, its meat and fat are used in traditional medicine, believed to aid skin conditions and joint pain. For rural farmers, python farming provides reliable income where other agriculture struggles, transforming a predator into financial security. Globally, fashion drives demand. Luxury brands seek python leather for its supple texture and striking scale patterns, qualities impossible to replicate synthetically. Handbags, shoes, and belts crafted from genuine python retail for thousands of dollars, linking village farms in Asia with catwalks in Paris and Milan. From jungle predator to global commodity, the python's transformation reveals both cultural value and immense economic weight. On python farms, the cycle begins with carefully chosen breeding stock. Large, healthy adults with desirable skin patterns and steady growth rates. During the breeding season, usually between April and August, females are placed in controlled enclosures that mimic natural conditions of warmth and humidity. When ready, a female coils tightly into a protective knot, preparing to lay. Each clutch can contain 20 to 80 eggs, while the biggest females may exceed 100 eggs, an efficiency that makes pythons especially valuable for industrial farming. The moment of laying is both delicate and dangerous. Driven by maternal instinct, the female becomes highly defensive, striking at anything that approaches. Farmers must act quickly, collecting eggs within the first hour, while shells remain soft but stable. Using gloves and long-handled tools, they lift each egg one by one, taking care never to tilt or rotate it, which could harm the embryo inside. The eggs are then arranged in incubation trays filled with moist vermiculite or sawdust, each placed in the exact orientation it left the mother. From these fragile white shells begins the transformation. Tiny embryos destined to grow into giants whose leather, meat, and fat will fuel industries stretching from village farms to luxury runways. Do you think collecting python eggs while the mother is still coiled around them is dangerous? Type 1 if you'd ever want to try this job someday, or leave your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a new video from AgroWorks USA. Once collected, python eggs enter climate-controlled incubation rooms where nature is carefully replicated. Trays are stacked in racks inside chambers kept at 30 degrees Celsius with 80–90% humidity, conditions that mimic the warmth of a coiled mother. Unlike in the wild, where hatching can be unpredictable, industrial incubation ensures uniformity. Farmers monitor temperature and moisture daily, as even minor fluctuations can jeopardize entire clutches. After 50–70 days, hatchlings begin to emerge. Though in many facilities the shells are carefully slit with sterile blades to guarantee survival and synchrony, the newborns are delicate and entirely dependent on the last of their yolk sacs for nutrition. For 7 to 10 days they do not eat, instead resting in clean, oxygen-rich enclosures filled with damp substrate. Once active, they transition to feeding small frozen mice, chicks, or specially processed reptile diets. At this stage, biosecurity is critical. Hatchlings are highly susceptible to bacterial infections and dehydration. Farmers use disinfected water, regularly clean enclosures, and separate weaker individuals for closer care. Within a few weeks, the fragile neonates transform into sturdy juveniles, ready for the grow-out phase. Here begins a long journey from vulnerable hatchling to a 3 to 5 meter reptile destined for global trade. After the fragile juvenile stage, pythons enter the grow-out phase, where they spend the next 2 to 3 years reaching market size. Farms are massive in scale. A single facility may manage thousands of snakes at once, with climate-controlled sheds stretching across entire compounds. Each enclosure is designed to maintain a stable temperature of 28 or 30 Fahrenheit and humidity of 70–90%, conditions essential for healthy growth and high-quality skins. Feeding follows a rhythm unique to reptiles. Unlike livestock that require daily meals, pythons eat only once every 7–14 days, typically consuming prey equal to 10% of their body weight. In commercial settings, this means frozen rodents, poultry offcuts, or processed feeds rich in protein and fat. By adulthood, a python may weigh 10-20 kilograms and measure 3 to 5 meters, having consumed far less feed overall than mammals of similar mass. Scale magnifies demand. Thousands of enclosures feeding simultaneously turn farms into living factories, where schedules are coordinated with near-military precision. Each shed must be cleaned, water disinfected, and animals inspected for shedding cycles or illness. Beneath the quiet stillness of coiled snakes lies a meticulously managed system, one that converts raw nutrition into leather, meat, and fat for global markets. Are you surprised that pythons only eat once or twice a week, yet still grow up to 20 kilograms? Would you like to try the job of feeding them with special tongs? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. After 2 to 3 years of growth, when pythons reach 3 over 5 meters in length and weigh 10 and 20 kilograms, farmers begin harvesting. Timing is crucial. Animals are selected when skins are thick, unblemished, and at peak value. To ensure safety, handlers first stun the python with a blunt instrument, minimizing reflexive thrashing that could damage both the animal and the product. Within minutes, the snake is motionless, ready for processing. Workers then make a precise incision along the belly, from jaw to tail. Unlike mammals, reptiles bleed very little, but careful handling is still required. A low-pressure pump may be used to separate the skin from the flesh, allowing the hide to peel away smoothly without tearing. Skins longer than 3 meters are especially prized, with even a small flaw reducing market value by hundreds of dollars. Immediately after removal, the hides are washed, salted, and layered for 24-48 hours, drawing out moisture and preventing decay. They then enter tanning drums, where agents like chromium sulfate transform fragile rawhide into supple, durable leather. Finally, hand dyeing and polishing highlight the natural scale patterns, turning each skin into a unique canvas destined for luxury workshops in Paris, Milan, or Tokyo. While skins bring the highest profits, nothing from a python goes to waste. Once hides are removed, the ivory white flesh is carefully butchered into fillets and sections. With long, firm muscle fibers and a mild flavor often compared to chicken or fish, python meat has become a delicacy in parts of China, Vietnam, and Thailand, selling for $10, $8, or $20 per kilogram. In restaurants, it appears grilled, stir-fried, or stewed with herbs, while rural households salt or dry it for preservation. Beyond the dinner table, python fat is equally valued. Unlike livestock fat, it forms in small, slippery lumps that are rendered into oils and balms. These extracts, long used in traditional medicine, are believed to treat burns, joint pain, and skin conditions. Modern cosmetic companies also experiment with python oil as a natural skincare ingredient. Even bones and organs find uses, ground into powders for folk remedies, or sold as feed supplements in some regions. This full utilization makes python farming highly efficient, with multiple revenue streams per animal. From meat to medicinal oil, every part of the snake enters commerce, reinforcing its role not just as livestock, but as a versatile pillar of agribusiness. Would you ever try python meat, grilled or stir-fried? Do you believe python oil really helps heal burns and joint pain? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to keep exploring with AgroWorks USA. Python farming is often praised as a win-win, easing hunting pressure on wild populations while creating reliable income for rural farmers. Compared to cattle or pigs, pythons consume far less feed, just once every 7-14 days, making them efficient converters of resources into high-value skins and meat. Still, the system raises environmental and ethical questions. Large farms generate significant waste and nutrient-rich water that, if untreated, can pollute rivers and wetlands. Disease outbreaks in dense enclosures can also cause mass die-offs, undermining both profit and animal welfare. The ethical debate is sharper. Pythons, evolved as apex predators, are turned into caged livestock, an industrial reimagining of a reptile that once symbolized wilderness. Critics see exploitation, while advocates argue commerce-driven farming may actually reduce poaching. This paradox defines the industry. Is python aquaculture a model of sustainable resource use, or simply another example of how humanity transforms the wild into profit. From the jungle's coils to the ocean's depths, both pythons and sharks reveal the same paradox. Creatures once feared as untouchable predators are now farmed, hunted, and traded as commodities. Their journeys, from fragile eggs and hatchlings, or from nets and long lines to luxury handbags and banquet tables, showcase human ingenuity, but also human contradiction. These industries sustain livelihoods and fuel billion-dollar markets, yet they force us to question how far commerce should reach into the wild. Are we witnessing models of sustainable use, or just another chapter in exploitation? I'll leave the choice to you. And if you've enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more stories with AgriWorks USA.